Okay, everyone, it's that time again for a 31 on 31, and this time I decided to do something a little bit out of the ordinary, I guess. And I'm going to be actually ranking three uh, different fandoms for this. Um, and you'll see what I mean. Um, the first portion, I'm going to show the titles themselves, and then you'll see what I mean by combining three fandoms. Um, we got the theatrically released Spider-Verse type movies, everything from Tobey Maguire's trilogy to Morbius. Um, then we got the 11 live-action Star Wars theatrical released movies with episodes 1 through 3, Solo, Rogue One, 4 through 6, 7, 8, and 9. A couple of trilogy packs there. And then we're going to be also talking about Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy, and the Lego Batman movie. So, kind of a bit more. You can see what I mean when I say three fandoms: DC, Star Wars, and a couple different branches of the Marvel universe. So, I've already ranked the Spider-Man movies and the Star Wars stuff together. I haven't done a combined video of the Star Wars and the Spider-Verse stuff but I've ranked them individually. If you know what I mean. If you know, does that make sense? Um, I've ranked the Star Wars series, and then I've ranked the Marvels, a lot of Marvel stuff, quite a few times. So let's go ahead and um, I'll I guess I'll re-rank the individual franchises we're talking about here with Spider-Verse, Star Wars, and then some Batman stuff. Um, so here we go. Ranking the Spider-Man trilogy just on its own terms. Um, I think I would go with third place being um, Spider-Man 1, second place being Spider-Man 3, and then first place being Spider-Man 2, the extended cut or theatrical cut, doesn't really matter to me, but that's what I would do with that. With the Amazing Spider-Man movies, I would go first place, last place. I liked the second one a bit more because even though Electro was kind of weird looking in this, I kind of liked that it introduced us to Electro and kind of gave him more stakes in the in leading into his return in No Way Home. So you kind of understand where the character begins his arc and where he leaves off with No Way Home. Then these next three we'll talk about together. We got the Blu-ray of Civil War, the 4K of Homecoming, and the 4K of Infinity War. that we'll be talking about next. I think there's only two DVDs that we'll be talking about this time, so if I moving forward, unless I specify it's either a Blu-ray or 4K, you can probably tell from the cases anyway. So for these first three Tom Holland Peter Spider-Man stories, he's introduced into the MCU with Civil War, Captain America Civil War, and he's not given a whole lot to do in Civil War because Spider-Man's just really utilized in the airport battle sequence and introduced a couple minutes before then. But he makes quite the impact in returning to the MCU universe with Civil War. And then riding the coattails of that, the airport battle sequence is Spider-Man: Homecoming, because this was a homecoming in two ways, because he was preparing for his homecoming dance at school, and it was Spider-Man's official homecoming to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Tom Holland's Spider-Man technically still hasn't had a solo outing because he teams up with Spider-Man teams up with himself. Spider-Man teams up with Iron Man here. And then in Far From Home, Mysterio crashes the show. And then Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield join the club for the third Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, which also incorporates them into the MCU retroactively. Yeah, anyway, we'll get to those other titles in a second. Next is Avengers: Infinity War. This one takes Spider-Man to space with the Avengers, where he's officially dubbed an Avenger. And by with the Avengers, I mean Doctor Strange and Iron Man. And the Guardians of the Galaxy end up showing up once they're on Titan there. So yeah, ranking these three, I probably would go Civil War 3rd place, Homecoming 2nd place, and Infinity War 1st place for those three. Yeah. Then the next two that we're going to talk about are Venom and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Across the Spider-Verse comes out very soon. I'm super excited for it. It looks really good. Wait, what? This says it has alternate universe modes. Discover alternate scenes, plot lines, characters, and more with the filmmakers as your guide. I'll have to check that out. Anyway, I got distracted and sidetracked. So with Venom here, it introduces Tom Hardy's Venom. It makes Venom kind of the hero of the story. More of an anti-hero, but he's the good guy in the story, whereas Riot, I don't think Riot is shown here. Unless that's Riot. Riot, it makes him the bad guy. And Venom acting as kind of the good guy. So That was kind of interesting. And then Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. A lot of people have already talked about Into the Spider-Verse on here on YouTube, and so there's not really a whole lot that I can add to what's already been said. But it's just a really great Spider-Man movie, a really good superhero movie, a really good animated movie, and a good movie in general. And just overall, it's a good movie. So I'm very much looking forward to Across the Spider-Verse. I heard that they changed from Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 and 2 to Across the Spider-Verse and Beyond the Spider-Verse. I think Beyond the Spider-Verse sounds a little cooler than Across the Spider-Verse Part 2. But I am looking forward to the next Into the Spider-Verse type Miles Morales Spider-Man movie. Yeah. As far as ranking these two, second place, first place. Yeah. I didn't really take all that many notes on this one. Actually, I didn't take notes on this at all. I'm just kind of winging it here. Just winging it, you know. This next chunk's gonna have the last 5 Spider-Verse type movies. So we have Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man Far From Home, Venom Let There Be Carnage, Spider-Man No Way Home, and Morbius. I just recently rewatched all these Spider-Verse movies, and while Morbius wasn't a great Spider-Verse movie, I don't think it deserves all the crap it gets. It introduced Morbius, obviously, and it had some interesting character arcs in it, and I thought it was is watchable. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible like everyone says it is. It's for me. It's okay. It's okay. It exists. I enjoyed it for what it was. I liked how they how they brought Vulture back into the mix with this. I look forward to seeing where his character goes, if anywhere, because it seems like they're building towards something. The Sinister Six. So ranking this portion is going to be a little bit harder because there's a lot of hard hitters here. There's 3 real hard hitters that are just so good. Let's see. So last in this bunch would be Morbius, even though I like it a lot more than other people do. Next up would be Far From Home, and then Avengers Endgame. So that'd be 4th place for Far From Home. No, 3rd place, because we already talked about Morbius. Our runner-up is Venom Let There Be Carnage. It says a certifiably insane addition to superhero cinema. They're not wrong. And then obviously in 1st place would still be Spider-Man No Way Home. So that is the Spider-Verse portion of this. Just almost at 15 minutes. So the next chunk we're going to talk about is the Star Wars live-action theatrical releases. We have the prequel trilogy, episodes 1, 2, and 3. Blu-ray DVD combo pack, so there's actually 6 movies in here. Same with the original trilogy pack that I have, Blu-ray pack. I liked. I appreciate the prequels a lot more, having seen it watched through the entire Clone Wars now, as well as being up to date on the Bad Batch. There'll be a new episode of that tomorrow, as well as a new episode of National Treasure, and Black Panther Wakanda Forever is being added to Disney Plus tomorrow as well. So tomorrow's going to be a good Disney Plus day, I think. But yeah, so we have the Star Wars original trilogy, or prequel trilogy, I mean, Clone Wars era. And for this trilogy, I would say my top 3 for this trilogy is in reverse release order, meaning I like 3 most. Second place would be Attack of the Clones, and then first would be last would be Phantom Menace. And the reason that I always seem to put Phantom Menace last is because it has a different actor for Anakin, and it's not Hayden Christensen. And I think, bad acting aside, I think Hayden Christensen does really well as Anakin. He could use some little pointers on acting, but I enjoy his portrayal of Anakin. And child Anakin from Phantom Menace, with it being a different actor, it just kind of like throws me off a little bit, because with as little amount of time as passes between the release of Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, it's not very believable that the kid that played Anakin in Phantom Menace 10 years later would look like Hayden Christensen's version of the character. So there you go. There's that little spiel. But yeah, so that's how I would rank the prequels. The next 2 that we're going to talk about are Solo and Rogue One. I just rewatched Solo, and I noticed something that I hadn't noticed before. Dryden Voss, Paul Bettany's character, he's Vision in the MCU. His character has a suit of Mandalorian armor on display on his yacht thing, his ship, which I thought was really really cool little Easter egg to find. It kind of hinted that Darth Maul would show up a little bit, because it was the red and black Mando armor that Maul's troops used. And I would be interested in tracking down a game of Sabacc and learning how to play. I think that would be a fun game to learn. But Solo is in last place for these 2. Rogue One is just a far better Star Wars story that granted, it makes it a little bit harder to care about the characters, because they're kind of one-off characters, except for Cassian, because he now has his own series. But pretty much all the hero characters, except for Cassian, Leia, and Mon Mothma, and Senator Organa, don't survive the events of this movie. Most of them get killed. the entire squad of Rogue One with K2SO, Chirrut, I think Maz or Mace. I don't remember what his name is exactly. The guy with the big gun that follows Chirrut around. Cassian and Jyn Erso. It's kind of a given that they're going to be killed off. Because this takes place like the majority of this movie takes place maybe a week or two before A New Hope, at which point all of the above mentioned characters were dead, or at least gone. It was nice to see Saw Gerrera. He's popped up a couple of other times in Star Wars content since this, and he showed up in season 5 of the Clone Wars. That's where he was introduced, his character at least, not this actor portraying him. Is he on the front? He is. This guy here, Saw Gerrera. That actor wasn't introduced back in the Clone Wars season 5, but the character itself of Saw Gerrera was, and Saw Gerrera reappears again in the first season of The Bad Batch, which I'm pretty sure most Star Wars fans have seen by at this point, so I hope that's not a spoiler that Saw Gerrera is indeed in The Bad Batch. But yeah, Rogue One. Honestly, it was also really nice to see the Death Star again when it was being constructed and that interesting little angle where a single reactor ignition didn't destroy an entire planet. I thought that was a nice little nugget of information. But anywho, next up in this portion of the video is the original trilogy. And this one's going to be pretty tough because, in my opinion, the original trilogy didn't have any like bad entries in it. Obviously, we get episodes 4, 5, and 6 here, and one thing I like to point out that might bug a lot of people is, as far as the DVD and the Blu-ray, and probably the 4K, I'm not sure, but as far as the Blu-rays and the DVDs are concerned, for A New Hope, Han shot second. Greedo shot missed. His shot went right behind Han's head, and then Han pulled the trigger, killing Greedo. As far as the DVDs and Blu-rays are concerned, I know in the original version Han shot first because he thought Greedo was reaching for his blaster, so he shot him before he had a chance to be killed or to kill Han. I know that's how it originally plays out, but I think it's fun to say that Greedo shot first, because in these two versions, the Blu-ray and the DVD, he misses Han and then gets killed. I think that's funny. It bugs a lot of people to think that Han did not shoot first, but I think it's an entertaining idea to pursue. So I like that angle where Han does not shoot first. I know he technically does, but you know. Oh, I need to rank these. Whoopsie, getting a little bit ahead of myself. So ranking these, I would go Empire Strikes Back in first place, with Return of the Jedi in second, and in last place, A New Hope. Not that I have anything against A New Hope, I just like the other two more. I just like 5 and 6 a little bit more. So, yeah. There you go. And then, I'll back up and rank all the Spider-Verse stuff with these and the Batman stuff here in a second. But I know I kind of sectioned off the Spider-Verse stuff, so I will be backtracking in a second. But first, I'm going to finish off the Star Wars stuff here. We have 3 more movies to talk about with that, and then I'll backtrack a little. So next up, we're going to be talking about the sequel trilogy. I like the sequel trilogy a lot, or more than a lot of people. Are they great Star Wars movies? No. Do they have at least for me, do they have good entertainment value? Yeah, they do. They got lots of really cool action sequences and fight scenes and lightsaber duels and whatnot. The story's a mess. I agree that the story with these is a mess, but I don't think having a messy story distracts from them being enjoyable. We got Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker in this trilogy. I think the box art for these is all pretty cool. But yeah, this portion of the video might get a bit controversial, kind of like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy did. But I think that's okay. That's okay. So the way I would rank these ones by my enjoyment of them would be Force Awakens, Rise of Skywalker, then Last Jedi. Last Jedi is my least favorite of the 3. I like the direction that Rise of Skywalker was going. Part of the turmoil that faces these 2 in particular is I think they had a change in director. Like J.J. Abrams, I think, stepped away for this one and came back for this one and kind of ignored what this one did. So I think he returned for this one. Yeah, J.J. Abrams. All 3 of them say J.J. Abrams. Anyway, I don't know. But, I do like the sequel trilogy. I don't like it as much as the rest of the rest of these ones, but I do like them for what they are. So there you go. So overall with Star Wars, I think I would go with the bookends of each trilogy in the top 3. With let's see, in last place I'm gonna put Phantom Menace. In 10th place, Solo, A Star Wars Story. In 9th place, Attack of the Clones. Let's see here. In 8th place, Last Jedi. In 7th place, ironically enough, is Episode 7. In 6th place is Empire Strikes Back, or no, A New Hope. In the one right after A New Hope, or in this ranking, would be Empire Strikes Back. And then Rogue One would be in 4th place with Rise of Skywalker in 3rd, Revenge of the Sith in 2nd, and Return of the Jedi being my favorite of the bunch. Return of the Jedi is probably the one of the original 6 that I've seen the most. So there you go. There's the Star Wars portion. Now I'm going to backtrack a little bit and rank these overall instead of just segmenting it like I already did. I think there's 15 titles here. 3 Tobey Maguires, 2 Andrew Garfields. Let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, there are 15 titles here. So in 15th place is going to be Morbius. In 14th place is The Amazing Spider-Man 1. In 13th place overall would be Spider-Man 1. In, I think, 12th place would be The Amazing Spider-Man 2. In, let's see, we're at 12th. In 11th place would be Civil War, Captain America Civil War. In, I think we're at 10th now, or 9th. In 10th or 9th place, whichever one we're at, is Spider-Man 2. In 9th or 8th, wherever we're at, is Spider-Man 3. Let's see, we've talked about 7. So we have 8 more to talk about here. So in our top 8 would fall these. Hopefully first place is not going to be a big surprise at all. And it's been first place every time I've done the Spider-Verse ranking individually by themselves. So let's see. 8th place would be Spider-Man Homecoming. 7th place would be Into the Spider-Verse. 6th place, Venom. 5th place, Infinity War. Let's see, 5th. 4th place would be Venom Let There Be Carnage. 3rd place, Far From Home. 2nd place, Endgame. And obviously in first, once again, No Way Home. So I'll be ranking these again in a moment, but we still have one more segment to talk about. My original thoughts when I was putting this ranking together were to do the Batman solo movies that have Batman in the title, actually in the title, which would have been Batman 89, Batman Begins from the Dark Knight trilogy, and either the Lego Batman movie or Robert Pattinson's The Batman. But I decided to change my mind a little bit. I was also going to do the Batman anthology that this was 1 out of 4 of, but I even changed my mind from doing that as well, obviously. So we're going to cover all 5 of these at once. We got Batman, Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. I'll just leave them out of their little box for a second. And the Lego Batman movie. So ranking these is a little bit tough because it's from 3 completely different eras of Batman. um, 3 different portrayals of the character as well. So here we go. I think in last place for this portion is going to be The Dark Knight Rises. Not really for any particular reason, just as far as the Dark Knight trilogy goes, I like this one the least. Tom Hardy did a good job as Bane, but that being said, it was also a different version of Bane than was in Batman and Robin, which I think that version with like the Venom seeping into his head and making him all big and beefy and whatnot is more true to the cartoon characters that I'm used to seeing for Bane. And this one was just a totally different version of Bane. It's not a bad version. It's just they made him kind of the criminal mastermind in a way before revealing that it was actually Talia al Ghul. But I still enjoy The Dark Knight Rises for what it is. Next up would be the Lego Batman movie. It's also a very different version of Batman, a much more comedic and lighthearted version. Because it has that good old Lego humor that I love in there. But it's in 4th place because I like the other ones more. That's kind of my cop out. I like the other ones more for a lot of things. In the top 3, obviously would be these ones left, but in 3rd place is Batman Begins. It was a very satisfying beginning to the Dark Knight trilogy. It introduced us to a version of Ra's al Ghul, played by one Liam Neeson. And it showed us Batman's as the title promised, it showed us Batman's origin story or his beginnings, so to speak. How he got started, where he got the bat suit from, how he got the super awesome Tumbler Batmobile. In 2nd place, I'm gonna put Batman '89. I really like Batman 1989. It kind of gives us an identity or a origin story for the Joker in it, with Jack Napier falling into a vat of chemicals, blaming Batman as well as the guy that sent him to Axis Chemicals, as it was called in this. So I kind of like that. The Joker sounded like a real good villain. Very classic, like subtly kill people off and have it be a mystery, like how did he do it type thing. It sounds eerily familiar for this day and age. Eerily familiar. I'm not going to get into that, but yeah. Anyway, in 1st place for these Batman movies is The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is not only my favorite of the Dark Knight trilogy, but it's also one of my favorite versions of Joker. I say one of my favorite versions because I also really like Joaquin Phoenix's version from Joker. But yeah, I really like The Dark Knight Rises. I'm gonna go ahead and put these back in their little box set now. So yeah, that is my Batman portion of the ranking here. Now for the very hard part. Because there's a lot of movies that I really like among these, and there's some that I'm not so crazy for. And everything else is just gonna fall in between somewhere. So, for this portion, this is the true 31 on 31 portion of the ranking, where I rank all 31 of these titles. This is gonna be hard. This is gonna be hard for me to do. Just because there's a lot of hard hitters here that are really good, and there's some that aren't so good, but still really enjoyable. And here we go. Let's see if I can pull this off without getting all lost in my words and rambling on too much. I just noticed a typo on the box for this. It says Revenge of the Sith is PG when it's PG-13. Interesting. Anyway, sidetrack. Let's see here. I think in last place for this overarching portion is going to be Phantom Menace. Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. Like I said when I ranked the Star Wars movies themselves, it's not that I don't like Phantom Menace. It seems disjointed from the rest of the prequel trilogy because of the different actor, or because of using a different actor for child Anakin. I kind of get why they did that, because when in Attack of the Clones, Anakin's 19, and it takes place 10 years after the events of Phantom Menace, which he was 9 in. So I understand why they had a different actor portraying him. It just seems to throw it off and like not make it as believable a transition between one version of the character and the other. So that's in last place. I'm gonna pause this and open up a Word doc to make tell my thoughts flow a little bit simpler, so I don't say the same or put the same thing in different places. So I can keep track of what I have where. So I'm going to pause this for just a second. As far as anyone else is going to know, I won't be gone at all. Okay, so 31st place is Phantom Menace. I think in 30th place, I'm going to put The Dark Knight Rises. Just because I have it so low on the overall ranking doesn't mean I don't like it. It just means there's movies I enjoy more than The Dark Knight Rises in this portion of the video. In 29th place, I'm gonna put Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 1. And then in 28th place, I think I'll put The Amazing Spider-Man 1. not that the Amazing Spider-Man 1 is better per se than Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 1. I was just I would really enjoy the Lizard, the character of the Lizard, and I liked how they brought the Lizard into the mix with Amazing Spider-Man. Let's see here. I don't really have a lot of space in my video area here. Oops. In 27th place, I think I'm going to put Captain America Civil War. Sorry, I'm kind of trying to write these thoughts in here as I go so I can keep track of what I've already ranked and what I haven't. So let's see. More space. In 26th place is going to be Spider-Man 3 from Tobey Maguire. And I've already talked about why I've ranked these the way that I have. I'm just kind of combining all of these now, and hopefully not straying from the rankings I just did too much. Yeah. And then in 25th place, finishing off the Tobey Maguire trilogy of Spider-Man movies, is going to be Spider-Man 2. Again, not for any particular reason, I just like some of these movies more. And then 24th is going to be Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yeah. Not that I don't like these ones that are lower on the list. It's just I like some of these more. It's just the way it is. I'm not saying that any of these lower ones on the list are awful or that I don't like them at all. I'm not saying that at all in any stretch of the imagination. I just like other ones more. Simple as that. In 23rd place, we're going to put Attack of the Clones. Let's see. In 22nd place is going to be Solo: A Star Wars Story. I really enjoyed being able to see the Kessel Run. I thought that was pretty cool, honestly. I was kind of curious, like, what is the Kessel Run? How did he do it in 12 parsecs? How are they measuring parsecs? Because in the Star Wars universe, or Star Wars canon, they've used a parsec to be a measurement of time as well as a measurement of distance. So in this case, I'm thinking it's a measurement of distance or of time. I mean, but ever since A New Hope, Han Solo has been bragging about doing the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs. So it kind of shows you what that was like. And I enjoy it for that. In 21st place is going to be Morbius. I thought it was going to be. And then rounding out our top 20, I guess I need to add Morbius to my computer or to the laptop's dictionary. There we go. Because it's a name. Not, rounding up our top or our bottom our top 20 there is going to be Star Wars 8 in 20th place. Yeah, and then I don't have much space over here. Let's see. I want to make some more space here. In 19th place is going to be Revenge of the Sith, Star Wars 3. In 18th place is going to be Spider-Man Homecoming. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead. Since I've already talked about all the titles, I'm just going to continue trying to rank them together a little bit. I need to move my scroller or my Word doc down a bit. I don't think the Word doc's going to show up in the video, so you're not going to be able to see the list I'm making. When I rewatched one of my other ranking videos, the Word doc I used in that one didn't show up in the video, but I have it up on the same side of the screen, up in the top left corner of my screen right now. Just kind of to help me have my words flow or my thoughts flow a little clearer. So let's see. I've already talked about Star Wars 8. In 17th place is going to be the first Venom movie. Oops, I inverted the spelling there. Venom 1. And then in 16th place, I'll go ahead and put Avengers Infinity War. Just to help me clear up space a little bit, honestly. At this point here, Avengers Infinity War. In 15th place, let's see, we've already talked about this. In 15th place, I'm going to put Force Awakens. Excuse me. In 14th place is going to be the Lego Batman movie. Right here. Go right there. In 13th place is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Let's see. In 12th place is Batman 89. Yeah, I already talked about that one. I've already talked about all of these, so I'm not going to go into too much detail with these, I guess. There's so little space here. In 11th place is going to be The Rise of Skywalker, Star Wars 9. Okay. So I've now accounted for the sequel trilogy completely and the prequels completely. And then rounding out our top 10 is Batman Begins from the Dark Knight trilogy here. Batman Begins is that one there, oops, this one on the bottom. Batman. So, you know, I can put those away in a moment. This is where it starts to get a little bit harder. In 9th place, I'm going to put A New Hope, Star Wars Episode 4. Actually, I'm going to put that in 8th place. So with that being in 8th place, that would put Rogue One in 9th, right behind it. Trying to figure out how to undo something. There we go. Okay. We're just over an hour now. So what's actually in 9th place is going to be Rogue One. I need to make sure I'm spelling that right. I always spell Rogue wrong. For the purposes of this video, the reason I'm putting Rogue One in 9th and A New Hope in 8th is because one ties literally directly into this the beginning of the next. So there we go. Put that one away. In 7th place, I think. Yeah, 7th place is going to be Avengers Endgame. No, Far From Home, then Endgame. So Spider-Man Far From Home. 6th place in 6th is Avengers Endgame. Is Endgame one word? It is. Okay. So there's those two. This is getting really tough. In 5th place is going to be Return of the Jedi, Star Wars 6. Oops. In 4th place is going to be Star Wars 5. Okay. Put all those away now, as well as this one. Now for the top 3. This one was actually kind of difficult to come up with the top 3 for these. First place shouldn't surprise anyone, but second and third might. In third place is Venom Let There Be Carnage. That might surprise some people. Third is Venom Let There Be Carnage. Please hold. Okay. And then our runner-up is going to be The Dark Knight. So second place is The Dark Knight. It's a great Batman movie, and it's the best of the Dark Knight trilogy, in my opinion. But once again, taking first place, no big shock here. First place has got to be Spider-Man No Way Home. I can't help it. I just really, really love Spider-Man No Way Home. It's such a great movie. I love it so much. It's so enjoyable. I love this movie. So that is my 31 on 31. This ranking isn't the right ranking. It's just my ranking, and just like Sean Chandler says a lot whenever he does ranking videos, it's not the right list. It's just his list. In this case, this is not the right list. It's just my list. I like Sean Chandler. I'd love to hear your guys' lists for these movies. Would anyone else have thought to rank a Spider-Verse with with a Batverse type thing, Batman stuff? Let's see. Lead actor issues aside, I am very much looking forward to the Flash movie. I've been rewatching the CW, or rewatching parts of the CW Flash, watching some of it for the first time ever. I have the first 6 seasons. I've now seen all but the Crisis on Infinite Earths, because I only have the 3rd, 4th, and 5th portions of that. I don't have the first 2 portions, but with the exception of those, I've seen the entirety of the 1st through 6th seasons of Flash. And I've been in a big Flash mood lately. So there you go. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here at an hour and 7 minutes. I'll see you in the next video. I'm gonna do a smaller ranking of Batman stuff next, where I talk about all the live action Batman movies, whether they have Batman in the title or not, as is the case with the Dark Knight trilogy, Suicide Squad, or the 2016 Suicide Squad, Justice League, theatrical and Snyder Cut, Batman v Superman, Joker will be included in that. Those types of movies that have to do with Batman, or that Batman himself is in, even if he's just Bruce Wayne like he is in Joker. I'll be doing that next. This will pop up in that as well, because I included it here basically. But I'll be doing that sometime down the road. But in the meantime, I'm going to end here. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and keep talking movies.